All right, here we are, live on Facebook, live on Zoom for our third webinar to talk a little bit more about our Nepal lifestyle leadership transformational expedition coming up in November. And today is a really special edition where my partner Lieven here is going to talk to us all about breathwork and how powerful it can be and how we can use it to really reach, I think, some of that potential that might be locked up inside of us. So I don't have much to say today. This is all you. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Great, great. Thank you, Georgie, and all other listeners or viewers. Today, indeed, a little bit more about breathwork. Very, very important. Breathing, of course, we all know it, but not everyone is paying as much attention to it as we maybe should be. And yeah, we know a little bit that we can survive like 3 weeks without meat, 3 days without water, but only about 3 minutes without air. But still, a lot of attention goes to our food and what we drink, but not to our breathing patterns or how we breathe and how much air we breathe and the quality of the air. So yeah, today a short introduction of breathing, because in Nepal, when we go to Nepal, we will talk a lot about breathing, but also experience a lot about the whole spectrum of breathing, because there are so many breathing techniques the last years evolving. Also today we'll talk a little bit about Wim Hof breathing, which is also becoming very popular. So in yoga, there is already for many years a lot of attention to breathing, and more science is also catching up on what are all the benefits of breathing and what is happening inside of the body. So it's very cool to see the evolution of people's attention now going more towards breathing. I have also a couple of slides to share today. Maybe also for the people who tuned in for the first time now, know that there are already two webinars which we did last week and the week before, and last week we talked a little bit about purpose. So also very, very interesting topic. So people who want to know more about purpose can watch the webinar of last week also, which we will, it's somewhere on LinkedIn and it will still be uploaded on the website. In the meanwhile, I shared my screen, I think. Great. So about breathwork, also starting from my own personal experience, and also I think last week I talked a little bit about how I discovered my purpose in life, and breathwork has been a very important tool for me to get closer to my purpose and also to improve my own personal health and performance. So I started discovering breathwork when I was in a divorce, actually, and in that divorce, I started my own inner exploration, my path to myself, and I registered for this kind of ayahuasca ceremony. And I don't know whether you know ayahuasca, Georgie.
I do.
Yeah, you know, it's like the
Yep.
plant medicine from the jungle, from Peru. Very intensive ceremony where you uncover a lot of dark areas of yourself. And I registered for one of those ceremonies in the Netherlands, and I went there. And before we started with the real plant medicine, we did some breath work, and I never heard about breath work. I was totally unfamiliar with all the different breathing possibilities. And this lady, she just, I had to lay myself down on the floor, and I had to start breathing, but very intensively breathing for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, very heavy breathing. And suddenly I was getting all these sensations in my body, tingling in my fingers. I was starting to sweat. I was getting cold. And before I knew, I felt like I was somewhere in the galaxy with my mind, and I saw all these kind of colors and things. It was already an out of body experience before I even started doing this ayahuasca. And that was for me the trigger to start diving deeper into breathwork, I was like, wow, if you only with your breathing you can influence so much in your body, what else can we do with breathwork? And that's when I discovered then the Wim Hof method. Wim Hof method, where also breathing is a very important pillar in our personal health, in our well-being. And that is where today I will give a short introduction about. But before we dive into the specifically in the Wim Hof method, just an overview for people, very interesting now and very very hot topic at the moment, because with everything from Corona, the COVID-19 going on still in the world a little bit, this is actually the first thing to pay attention to is how we are breathing, because with all these pathogens, with all these diseases, flus hanging around in the air, nose breathing is the first thing to start with, to, let's say, to have our first line of defense of our immune system at place. So if anyone is still doubting about how to breathe, then okay, be sure nose breathing is the only good way for your body, because the nose is made for breathing and the mouth is made for eating. Because when we breathe through the nose, a lot of dust, a lot of pathogens, a lot of things are just not going inside our lungs, while when we breathe through our mouth, then yeah, everything directly goes inside of our body, and the nose, it filters out a lot. And there are a lot of very nice functions of our nose. It's increasing the air temperature before it goes into the lungs, or it's decreasing the air temperature when it's really hot outside. Also, when you breathe through your nose, automatically you're activating a part of your nervous system, where I'll talk a little bit about afterwards, which is very important to know. The parasympathetic nervous system, or rest and digest, it's also activated. So already when people are stressed, and a lot of people nowadays are stressed and they want to control what's happening around them, already just by paying attention to your breathing, to your nose breathing, your body automatically gives a signal to your brain, like, okay, it's okay, you can go to rest, and stress hormones in your body will go down. And then last thing I want to say about this nose breathing thing is that it's generating nitric oxide inside our nasal cavity, and nitric oxide has a lot of good functions, which are antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, which are going inside of our lungs and helping us to have a better immune system. So already just by breathing through our nose, we can improve our health and just our energy level inside of our body. There is a lot of research also done. So just for people who like to dig deeper into the research part, a lot of evidences are there that even curing a flu can be done just by nose breathing. So a very cool topic. Something else to say about breathing is that there's a big link to our nervous system. So we all know we can, just by thinking, we can control our fingers, we can move our body. So that is one part of our nervous system, which is our somatic nervous system, which we voluntarily can influence. But a lot of things are happening inside of our body without thinking about it. Like our heart is beating, we are breathing without consciously always have to think, breathe in, breathe out, would be very tiring. So a lot of systems in our body are working without paying attention to it. And there are actually two systems or two sides on this nervous system, and that's sympathetic and parasympathetic. And some people know it better, like there's a fight or flight part in our nervous system and a rest and digest. And to give an example, fight or flight is when, let's say you walk on the street and you want to cross the street and you didn't saw a car coming. and you have to jump away. At that point, it's not like, okay, I see this car, what's going to happen now? What's the velocity of this car? No, instinctively, your body has something like, I have to not fight, but I have to flight. So your heart rate goes up. There's a lot of oxygen going to your cells. There is like glucose going into your body. Your heart rate is going up and your breathing is going up. It's all fight or flight response instinctively. So that's one side of our nervous system. And on the other side, when you come home from work and you sit in your couch, then automatically your body has something like, it's okay now, I can rest. So your breathing, it slows down, your heart rate goes down, your pupils, they go a little bit, you go a little bit too sleepy. How is it called? Your saliva in your mouth, it's you feel like hungry, you want to eat. So all these functions in your body, they start giving a signal like, okay, it's safe here. It's like from our ancestors, like going out of our cave, fight or flight, or being inside our cave, rest and digest. And you see here on this slide, the lungs are breathing in both states of our nervous system. Breathing is very important, and because when we're in fight or flight, it's like we're breathing very heavily, and we're afraid. There's fear, so our breathing is higher in our body and intenser. While when we are in rest and digest, it's slower. It's more through the belly, and yeah, it feels like it brings calmness. And all these things, they are, the thing is not one or the other is bad. It's not that fight or flight is bad or that rest and digest is bad, because during the day, these two parts of our nervous system, they should be in balance. And every time you breathe in, it's like an activation of your fight or flight. And when you breathe out, it's like rest and digest. So automatically, by breathing in and breathing out, you're keeping this system in balance. But what's happening to a lot of people nowadays is that they're the whole day inside of their head thinking that there's some kind of tiger that they need to fight with or they have to flee from. So they're always, or a lot, in this sympathetic state of fight and flight, and they're like, yeah, bringing this nervous system out of balance, with then a lot of health issues as a consequence, because our nervous system is not in balance anymore. And the good thing is that this state of being, like being in fight or flight or rest and digest, it influences our breathing. But the power of breathing is that when we consciously take over our breathing, that we pay attention to how we breathe, we can again influence our state of breathing, our state of being. I don't know if you're still with me.
Still here.
So, and automatically, when I now want to activate my body, I can do like, I can breathe very heavily, and I feel already like my hairs are coming straight up, and I get myself active. While when I slow down and for 5 minutes, I slow down my breathing, then I'm in a state of being, okay, life is pretty good, it's okay. So breathing consciously can influence our state of being. So that's very important already to be aware of, and maybe to give one tip to people. And there's a lot about mindfulness now and meditation. The most easy way to start doing some mindfulness or bring mindfulness into your day is to pay attention to your breathing. When you're sitting in your car, pay attention to your breathing. Is it fast? Is it slow? What is it saying about me, about how I feel at the moment? Every time you wake up in the morning or when you sit in the couch, you can, in your day, integrate some conscious moments to check in with your breathing, to know how you're feeling at that point, and already with intention change some things about your breathing pattern. Um, but I'm here to also share one exercise, which is the Wim Hof breathing exercise. Wim Hof is this Dutch guy. They call him the Iceman. He has like 20 records, world records on his name, doing a lot of crazy things. You really should, if you do not know him, you should look him up. A lot of YouTube videos and documentaries about him, about crazy stuff that he's doing. And for years and years, people thought that he was just crazy. But then they started to measure him and in universities try to see, okay, what's going on? Why can this person do all this crazy stuff? And with his techniques of mindset and breathing and cold exposure, he was able to get control back over his body, over his life, over his health and happiness. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, just look him up. There's a lot of information available on the internet. And he developed this breathing pattern, which is like a couple of cycles with intense breathing and relaxation, where when doing these breathing patterns on a daily basis or multiple times a week, you can, yeah, there are so many health benefits involved that it's really something to look into. So we are going to do a couple of these breathing exercises or one of these breathing exercises. I don't know, Georgie, did you ever do the Wim Hof breathing?
I have done some of the Wim Hof breathing, mostly this year actually, because I noticed he's been doing a lot of, I love actually his Facebook Live, or not Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives that he's been doing. So I've done only that version of it. So this will be exciting.
We're just going to do a very short intro because, yeah, most of the times we do these workshops physically with people in the same room. Now it's a little bit more difficult. So we'll just try it out to feel already a little bit the sensation. What I want you to do, if you want to join, or the people who is viewing and listening, is to already put one hand on your chest, and one hand on your belly, and just feel for a couple of moments and breathe, and to be aware of where your breathing is. Is your breathing low in your belly? Are you feeling relaxed? Or is your upper hand moving a lot? Are you breathing maybe quite high through your mouth naturally, which is not pretty okay? So just check in with your body to feel how you're breathing. And for a couple of breaths, we're going to focus now on just breathing through our belly. So people, they can keep their hands on one hand on the belly, one on the chest, and they can just start to slowly breathe, but only using the nose and only trying to breathe through the belly. So our upper hand should not move, it should stay still on our chest, and only our belly is going up and down. And I'm breathing through my mouth so that you can really see it. So that's actually how babies breathe when they are born. They have a perfect belly breathing. And that's how it should be, let's say, for our whole life. For some people, this already can be difficult because a lot of people, they are like very high breathers. So breathing through the belly can already be quite a challenge. But using our nose for breathing can already make it a little bit more easy. And now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to keep our belly flat and only breathe through our chest and using our mouth. So not forcing too much, but and doing that a couple of times, and notice maybe how it changes your state of being. I don't know, Georgie, how that feels for you when you do this.
Yeah, it feels very different when I do that.
And different, you feel
Like
like heart rate, or
yeah, like the belly breathing feels more calm and relaxed, and then just the chest breathing feels much more yeah, like heart rate more up, not as calm and relaxed, almost the opposite.
yeah,
More like almost more tense, more ready, more alert.
indeed, and it's good. Sometimes we need it to survive this kind of breathing pattern, but not the whole day, because our chest is not made to expand and to breathe comfortably. Wim Hof breathing, it's like a combination of the two. In the first part of the breathing exercise, we take in a lot of air.
We actually have a comment on Facebook asking if we can put you on full screen instead of the static image so they can watch what you're doing.
Sorry, indeed. It's a good, wait.
Thank you, Facebook.
Is that better?
So let's see, so now it should be speaker view. So I can see you full screen. Hang on, let me just let Facebook catch up here, and let's see. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. As long as I don't talk, you show.
Thank you. So with the Wim Hof breathing, we are going to work in a couple of cycles, which we put next to each other. So the first part of Wim Hof breathing is increasing the oxygen levels inside of our body and decreasing the CO2 in our body. So we take in a lot of air. It means like really filling our lungs completely. And that's by starting to breathe from our belly, but then going upwards towards our chest. And it goes like this. It's like it's almost like waves. So it's like first starting at the bottom at your belly, going towards your chest, and then letting go. And letting go is like everything goes flat again. And the letting go part is also just letting go until you're neutral. It's not like this. It's not like it's not going completely flat. So it's just like that you're back in a neutral state. And this breathing, this like intense, and when you see Wim Hof videos, you really see people going very fast. That's how it can go. This we normally do for about 20 or 30 times, that we really fill our body with oxygen and we feel things. Sometimes you can get a little bit dizzy or lightheaded, or you feel like all the hairs on your body, they get straight. So important is that you're in a safe environment when you do this breathing exercise. You're not driving, you're not in your bathtub which is filled with water, you're not under the shower, you're just sitting on a chair, you're laying on the ground. So always do this kind of exercise in a safe environment, because it triggers a lot of things in hormones in your body. Also, maybe for pregnant ladies, they should not do this exercise, or people who are very sensitive to hyperventilation. They should be careful with doing this intense breathing exercise. So that's the first part, and I'm going to guide just a couple of these waves in a couple of seconds. And after we have done this this first stage. I'm just going to show you after a couple of breaths, and I'm going to count down, and it's like 3, 2, 1, and then the last time fully in and letting go. And the last time that you let go, you hold your breath. So at the last exhale, you hold your breath and you're not breathing anymore. And you just hold your breath. And for some people, it's like 1 minute or maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes. When you train this, it will gradually build up. You just feel the sensations, and a lot of things are happening inside your body with your CO2 level and your oxygen level. So, but that's something for the people who are really interested afterwards to know more what's happening. It's already a kind of altitude training that you're doing. So very good for people who want to join to Nepal, because you can do altitude training at home. But you hold your breath, and at the moment that you feel like, okay, I feel the urge to breathe now, I want to breathe again, then you just take again one deep inhale from your belly to your chest, and you're going to hold it again, but now at inhalation. And this time you hold it just for 10 seconds or 15 seconds. You just hold your breath, and you can visualize a bit that you push this fresh air towards your brain, and after 10 seconds it's like letting go again. And these are actually the different steps of a Wim Hof breathing. So I don't know if there are maybe some other questions popping up from people who are viewing. But if it's okay, then I'm going to guide you now through one sequence of this breathing, just to experience it. And then afterwards people, they can go online and can check. I also have like a Wim Hof guided breathing session online, which they can check afterwards, maybe if they're interested. But just now to get the sensation, I propose that we just do 10 of those heavy breathings, and after 10 breathings we are just going to hold our breaths and do one cycle of Wim Hof breathing. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, quick question. Do they breathe in through their nose, out through their mouth, or are they in through the mouth, or?
What Wim Hof is saying, he says that it doesn't matter through which hole that you're breathing. It can
Perfect. Excellent.
What for me, I like to do it through my mouth. Also, most people who are familiar with it, they do it through their mouth, because you can really pump up your whole body immediately. But if you have difficulties with belly breathing, then, and you want to do it with a more soft approach, then you can breathe through your nose in, but then it goes a little bit slower and smoother. But yeah, I'm the person who likes a little bit more of the intense stuff. So I do in through the mouth and out through the mouth. It's like that's how I like to do it.
Perfect. Lead on.
All right. So people who want to join, they just put one hand on their belly and one on their chest, sitting in a safe environment on their chair or laying on the floor. And just for a moment, check in with your body to feel your heart rate, whether you are in a relaxed state or you feel a little bit stressed maybe of the day. But yeah, for most people in Canada, the day still has to start. So I hope people over there are still relaxed. And slowly we start breathing through the belly, just to get in this relaxed state. And for people who do not feel comfortable with breathing through the belly, it can be good to just slowly start breathing through the belly. And then when you're ready, we're going to do 10 times this heavy breathing where we fill our complete lungs from the belly to the chest. So we breathe in, let go. 9 in, we let go. 8, let go. 7, let go. 6, let go. 5, let go. 4, let go. And just use your own pace, what feels comfortable. 3, let go. 2, letting go. 1, letting go. And the last time, deep in, we let go and we hold our breath. We are not breathing now at the last exhalation, and we just hold our breath for as long as we can. And now this is a moment that you can feel maybe of these sensations, that you be mindful about stress in your body, where you feel maybe a little bit stressed. And at the moment that you feel like I need to breathe, do not force anything, just take one big breath of air and you keep it again for 10 seconds, you hold it. Very good, for 10 seconds you hold it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you let go. And then normally we start again and we do like 3 or 4 of these cycles where we do this intense breathing, followed by, they call it hypoxia. Hypoxia is the stage where you hold your breath and you're not breathing, because then a lot of things are changing inside your body. You're building up CO2. Slowly oxygen goes through your cells. There is like oxygen deprivation inside your cells, so your cells will become more efficient in how to use the available oxygen when you're holding your breath. And a lot of things inside your body are happening. I don't know how you felt. Did you feel anything when you were doing this breathing?
It feels, for me, I really love it in the like when I'm holding my breath, because then I just kind of imagine the air kind of circulating all through my body. So you kind of get this little bit of, for me anyway, it's almost like a little tingly, where I literally, I'm picturing the air just kind of cruising on through all my arms and my legs and moving through everything. So that's actually my favorite part, is the breath holding part.
Yeah, indeed. And visualization is a very powerful thing while doing those breathing. And also when we do workshops with Wim Hof breathing, then we work around specific themes of letting go, of courage, of freedom. We can do all kind of stuff with it, and to feel more, of all this energy flowing through our body. So this was just very short, because also, in a virtual environment, I like to be careful with doing this kind of exercise, because you never know who's listening, and you do not get the full information. So it's very intense exercise, and sometimes people feel maybe uncomfortable, or they feel like fear coming up, because when you do it, this kind of breathing, it's like, oh, I feel kind of things, and people are not used to it. So it's an interesting exercise to observe yourself also. so this was just a short intro, and on the Wim Hof website you feel you see all the advantages of what this breathing can do for you. So yeah, that was Wim Hof breathing.
It's very cool. I'm really looking forward to doing this too in, like, say, the mountains of Nepal. Like, I think just being in that environment as well, outside of a normal environment, to really be able to use this technique and get in touch with, you know, what's going on inside of me, what's going on just in general. I think it's going to be really, really powerful.
Indeed, and for me also, this method has been very powerful in finding connection again with myself. I'm not the type of person who go and sit in a room and start meditating and gets in connection with my body. Wim Hof method and breathing this way is a very good way to start like a meditation session, or become mindfulness about blocking parts in your body. Or even a step further, this breathing technique, when you really go far into it, it moves over to some kind of holotropic breathing, which is like used for trauma processing. So a lot of stuff, a lot of emotions can come to the surface while doing this breathwork exercise. And we will, of course, in Nepal we will be doing Wim Hof breathing and some variations on Wim Hof breathing, and see how it can benefit us in climbing the mountain in Nepal, and also climbing our inner mountains.
So good. And like you mentioned, we'll share not only the video, but we'll also share where they can learn more about this on your site as well.
Yeah.
If they want to start practicing a little bit, maybe in a safe way.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really, really cool. Quick question. Is the guided one you have on your website in English?
Actually, I'm doubting it. But okay. The Dutch of breathing in and breathing out is not that different from the English.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
You can figure it out.
It's a bonus. People could start to practice their Dutch. It's amazing. Lots of wins.
And the nice thing is with the breathing, it's with music, so it's with different songs, and it's nice also. We always do it with music, because then it gets more intense also. So I will share the links afterwards, and yeah, if people cannot figure when to breathe in or when to breathe out, just follow your own pace and just start doing it.
That's perfect.
About stop thinking and start feeling. So not overthink too much, just get inside of your body, just go with your breath and start breathing.
I think it's even not being in English is even almost better for us that don't speak any other language but English. What a great way to really be, another way to be able to really tune in and just follow, and like very, very cool.
Great.
So yeah, awesome.
All right. If there are any questions afterwards, just get in touch, and happy to share more info for people who want to dive deeper into it.
Excellent. And then with that, we will be back next week with another webinar on another topic.
Yeah.
To talk maybe a little more about our.
Maybe something else about breathing. Maybe something about cold exposure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. A lot of topics to talk about.
A lot of topics. We'll have something. But yeah, I love this. Even if I think about, with COVID and things going on for people, I think this can be such a great tool for people to use right now. So awesome. Thanks so much for sharing.
Great.
So we will see everybody, I guess, next week.
Yeah, next week, Wednesday, same time, same place.
That's right. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.